So let's talk about compassionate leadership, which is one of those topics that so many leaders are having a significant challenge understanding, because I do think what's missing in the equation is compassion. I think we've seen it in the last number of months. I think we've seen it in the last decade. It's been eroding, and yet there is a need to have that compassion come back. And I do think that the mental health challenges is in fact tied into what Mike said. We need to have better connections. We need to emphasize connections. We need to have an emphasis that being compassionate is not weak. So how do we change that trend? And Sheila, I want to, again, come back to you, because I do think one of the trends that has to change in our world right now is this sense of compassion is not a bad attribute to have.
I'm going to loop Mike into this conversation because we just did an incredible panel on racism, and I'm just going to equate mental health and compassion with our now awareness of racism. For the longest time, I think most executives thought it's going to be dealt with in the courts and in the streets, and I don't have to be very aware or very compassionate about this situation, even if I have Black employees. And now we're seeing the systemic change that's come from the streets into the boardroom, into actually practice. And you can't for very long pretend that you're running an organization that is both based in compassionate leadership and equality and not actually listen to what your employees are telling you. Right now, employees are saying our mental health matters. For employees under 30, most are demanding mental health practice, ability to actually get mental health care, and the willingness of corporate leaders to actually share their experience of where they're at with their mental health journey as their number one priority. This is because young people grew up listening to Oprah. They grew up listening to their moms talk about what it means to be emotionally acute. This is a generation that I believe is absolutely going to change the workforce. And Donato, unless company leaders want to be able to hire the very best and the brightest, they're going to have to pay attention to the needs and the wishes and the wants of this young and very brilliant young workforce.
Mike, do you want to pick up on that?
Yeah, I was going to pile on a little bit. I think the economics they learned in business school don't work anymore. I think that what's really been highlighted by the COVID pandemic is how dependent they are on their workforce, and how critical it is that their workforce trusts them, and that they earn that trust. And to do that, I think, requires a different type of leadership than moving the widgets around or making big strategic acquisitions. I think it really requires connection at the level we've been talking about. And it's hard to mass produce connection, but I think that's what great leaders do, is they are able to connect in a way that doesn't require them to be physically in front of every individual one-on-one. They are able to communicate in a way that it's clear that they understand and they want to help and they are helping. And at the end of the day, it isn't just words, it's going to be deeds, right? I think it's going to be, what do the leaders do that make it clear, not sell that they're trustworthy or that they're compassionate, but demonstrate that that is the culture that they want and the culture that they have, and it's this is where, sincere, ethical, compassionate leadership, I think, wins, and especially in this environment, because I don't know how many people have said, well, in fact, there was a survey we just came out with one of our partners that basically said that something like 40% of the workforce does not believe that their employer cares about their mental health, except to the extent it impacts their productivity. That's a crying problem.
Which goes back, Mike, to the belief that you could have a double bottom line in an organization. Right. You can be profitable and you can do good. I've been working on a workplace dignity program with the Robert F. Kennedy Center. 60 million Americans have categorized themselves as having been bullied in the workforce.
Mm.
60 million. And as you know, they don't leave the scars of the bullying on the steps of that workplace. They take it home and they take it out on their family. And so I think we have a quintessential opportunity to really address this in the workforce.